You already know you should be smarter with money. So why does $100 still feel like it doesn't matter? Because nobody ever sat you down and showed you the order. Most people treat $100 like it's too small to matter, so they blow it. Or it just sits in a checking account doing nothing. Or, and this one really gets people, they wait. They tell themselves, I'll start being smart with money once I have more money. That one little mental loop, that's why most Americans are still broke at 50. Not because they never made enough, because they never learned the sequence. The specific moves you make when the amount is small, because those are the exact same moves that scale when the amount gets big. Don't leave yet, because the first move most people skip is the one that changes everything. And it's probably not what you think. Here's why 2026 specifically matters. And this isn't a scare tactic. Think about something you bought back in 2020, groceries, gas, rent, whatever it is. Picture what you paid for it. That same thing cost you over 20% more right now. And the average American savings account still paying around 0.4% interest. So that $100 you had sitting in a regular bank account back then, in real purchasing power today, you've got about 78. You didn't spend it, didn't lose it in the market, didn't make a single bad decision. You just let it sit there, and the economy quietly pickpocketed you while you were living your life. That's not a scare tactic. That's just math. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people already know this. You've heard the word inflation 1,000 times. But there's a big difference between knowing something and actually feeling what it costs you to do nothing. Because every single week, you don't make a move with that money. You are making a move. You're choosing to lose. Not all at once, slowly, invisibly, in a way that never shows up on any bill or statement. The cost of hesitation right now is the highest it's been in your lifetime, and the first wrong move most people make, they don't even know they're making it. Let's talk about the moves that feel smart but absolutely aren't. Wrong move 1, dropping it in a regular savings account and calling it a day. Look, it's better than nothing, but here's what's actually happening. Your bank takes that $100, lends it out at 7, 8, sometimes 9% interest, and hands you back about 40 cents at the end of the year. 40 cents. You are literally bankrolling their profits with your own discipline. That's not saving. That's a donation with extra steps. Now, if wrong move 1 is the slow bleed, wrong move 2 is the fast one. Wrong move 2, the crypto impulse buy? Somebody on TikTok is up 600% on a coin you've never heard of. And suddenly, $100 feels like a lottery ticket. Now look, I'm not here to clown on crypto entirely, but throwing $100 into a random altcoin because of a hype post? That's not investing, that's gambling. And the house always wins that one. And then there's the sneakiest one of all. Wrong move 3, the just this once spend. The shoes, the dinner, the thing you've been eyeing for weeks. You tell yourself you'll be smarter with the next 100. But there's always a reason the next 100 isn't the right time either. And then 5 years go by and you're in the exact same spot, even though you always meant to do something about it. Here's the thing though, none of this makes you stupid. It makes you normal because nobody ever sat you down and showed you the actual order of operations. And that order starts with something most people completely overlook. Let's get into it. Here's the actual playbook. 3 steps, specific order. Don't skip ahead because here's what most people miss. The order matters more than the choice. The wrong move in the wrong sequence wipes out every smart decision you make after it. Step 1, before you do anything else, check your debt. This is the move you do first. If you've got high interest as credit card debt, and the average rate right now is sitting above 20%, then paying down even a small piece of that is the single highest guaranteed return available to you anywhere on the planet. You're not going to find a legal investment that hands you a guaranteed 20% return. But every dollar you throw at high-interest debt does exactly that, every single time. If you've got $100 and you're carrying that kind of debt, this is where it goes. Full stop. Step 2, if your debt situation is manageable, build your starter buffer. Not a full emergency fund, that's a longer game. Just a small cushion. Even $50 sitting in a high-yield savings account, look for online banks paying over 4% right now with 0 minimums and 0 fees. Means the next time something unexpected costs you $50, you're not reaching for a credit card. You're breaking the cycle before it even starts. The specific bank matters less than getting it into the right type of account today. Step 3, only after steps 1 and 2, take whatever's left, even if it's just $20 or $30, and put it into a fractional index fund. Fractional just means you don't need to buy a full share of anything. You put in $20, you own a tiny piece of hundreds of companies at once. No minimums, no stock picking, just a small slice of the entire American economy, and time does the heavy lifting. And I need you to actually hear this next part, that $20 is not about $20. It's about becoming the kind of person who invests. Automatically, consistently. Without overthinking it, that identity, not the amount, is what separates people who end up with real money from people who are still waiting for the right moment 10 years from now. Most people hear all that and they get it, but they still don't move. And the reason is the math, the actual numbers of what waiting costs you. That's next. And fair warning, the number you're about to hear doesn't care how busy you've been. Let's stop talking feelings for a second. The math doesn't care. Two people. Two completely normal Americans. Person A starts putting $100 a month into a basic index fund at 25 years old. 7% average annual return, which is actually below the S&P 500's historical average. Person B waits. Life gets in the way, it always does, and they start at 35 instead. Same $100 a month, same 7%. Same discipline. By the time both of them hit 65, person A $262,000, person B $120,000, same money, same effort. Same everything. 10 years of waiting cost, person B $140,000. That is not a typo. Read the number again, $140,000. And this is the part that should actually bother you. Person B wasn't being reckless, they were just waiting. Waiting until the timing felt right. Until life settled down a little, that completely normal, completely human feeling of not yet, it cost them $140,000. Silently, without ever sending a single bill. Here's what that actually looks like in your real life. That's a paid-off car. That's a down payment on a house. That's 5 years of your kid's college. Gone. Not from a bad decision, from no decision. That's not a tragedy. That's a Tuesday for someone who waited. Compounding doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It's either working for you right now, or it's working against you. There's no neutral, and yet most people still choose the wrong path. Not because they're dumb, but because of what they're being shown instead. That's next. Before you close this tab and go Google those TikTok stocks, let's talk about what's actually going on. Because if you've spent 5 minutes on financial TikTok or YouTube lately, you've seen it. Turn $100 into $10K this month. The investment your bank is literally hiding from you. AI trading bots, mystery crypto plays, some dude on a yacht who found you at exactly the right moment. That content gets 30 million views, which tells you everything about what people want to hear and absolutely nothing about what actually works. Here's the real deal. Anyone promising you a fast flip on $100 is either selling something, got lucky once, and thinks that's a personality, or both. The people actually building real wealth, they're not doing anything exciting. They're being consistent. They're being patient. They're letting boring financial tools do boring things over long stretches of time. One group is stressed, reactive, always one bad trade away from starting over. The other one is quietly, almost annoyingly winning. So how do you make sure you're in that second group? The honest answer, it's not willpower, it's one decision made today that takes future you completely out of the equation. That's what we're closing with, that decision, the one that puts you in the second group. It's setting up the auto transfer, opening the right account, doing it once today so future you never has to rely on motivation or willpower ever again. That's it. Because this video was never really about $100. It was about the moment you stop being the kind of person who waits and start being the kind of person who moves. That gap between where you are financially right now and where you actually want to be. It doesn't close because you suddenly make more money. It closes because you start making decisions like someone who already understands how money works. The $100 is just the entrance exam, the universe checking if you know the order. Every single person sitting on real wealth today had a moment exactly like this one, a small amount, a choice, a feeling that it was too small to matter. The only difference between them and everyone else, they just started with whatever they had in the right order and then did it again the next month, until one day the math started doing the work for them. That's available to you right now with exactly what you have. So the only real question left is, are you going to treat this $100 like it's too small to matter? Or are you going to treat it like the first move of someone who actually figures it out? If you're choosing the second one, subscribe. Because next week, we're getting into something most finance channels won't touch. The exact number where your savings stop feeling like savings and start feeling like momentum. Most people spend their whole lives never hitting it because they never knew what they were aiming for. And once you see that number, the way you look at your paycheck changes permanently. See you next week.